And you know what? Knowing is half the battle.
And when I say we're streaming, I mean we haven't actually started yet, but we will in a moment.
Is that like we're recording?
Well, I don't know. No, we are streaming. Okay, good. Sometimes I'm not sure how this works because if I hit the stream button in vMix, I think it actually just starts streaming on YouTube, even if I haven't gone in and set us live yet.
Oh,
And this time it did. It just does it unlisted. So let me change it to public. There we go.
I am just not seeing it yet. Now I am.
It wasn't public yet. And now it is.
I am way too loud. Let me turn that down. I apologize for my video quality.
It's okay. The audio sounds good.
I'll try and keep an even tone. Unfixed. That's two fixed. Red fish, blue fish. Update.
Hemina. No.
What do you mean no?
Interesting.
You're not looking in the right place. You gotta look again.
Herd refresh says yes.
Magic 8 Ball says perhaps.
It's almost like there's advice up there on the top of the page, which suggests that that should be what you do.
I should say no more.
Crap.
I think I wrote that. I'll drink to that.
I don't know what's going on. But
Okay.
You should just end your sentence right there.
I'm getting YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Error message.
Oh, Dark Lord says he's not got a stream link. That's not exactly the same. There's the stream link from Helms.
Wonder if I'm having connection issues.
It's a good question, Josh. Will we be getting a 3D stacked burger soon?
All burgers are 3D stacked.
Yeah. And Josh prefers the organic ones as opposed to the silicone based ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just me. Something's wrong on my.
I'm seeing a lot of people saying good vid, everything's cool.
Okay.
Even in Canada.
I think it's just something wrong with my browser.
As everybody knows, bandwidth is very scarce in Canada.
Hey, we're mining it as fast as we can.
Hey, as long as we're actually live, I'm going to start recording. Record.
Where was the post about to stream? Yeah, we don't know where the stream was actually headed. Someplace out.
Do we ever?
Past no. But I would have. I was considering maybe out past the orbit of Jupiter. That's probably where it was headed.
Josh, what kind of fool do you take us for? This is not a burger.
What? Would you
This is
speak
not a-
up? I can't
this is-
hear.
This is not a burger. Do you take us for fools?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. Well then.
All right,
so-
not to spoil.
We
it
also
or
had
anything.
not a burger today. Nice Aussie meat pie from a place I'm allowed to eat at again.
That's nice.
Excuse me.
No, that's just.
Beautiful.
No, that
means
you just
enjoyed
added
the
that as
meal.
your pick is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
That was your pick. Okay. Oh wait, no, I haven't looked.
yeah,
I won't even
well,
look.
sort of.
I'll leave the pics for the end. It'll be more organic.
Yeah, don't look at mine yet because
Yeah.
I still don't.
It's organic.
No.
It's an organic.
Yeah, I
process.
haven't. There was something. What was I
I
thinking
don't have a
about?
freaking clue.
Speaking of organic processes or processes,
Oh,
let's get started. I can't wait to hear what you guys think about the new graphics card. All right. Don't
there was a
has
new
letters.
graphics card.
It has letters and
Hey,
numbers.
you know what? Can you give me like a minute?
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks. It's like the nicest thing anybody's done for me today.
Anything for you, Josh? Almost. Okay, I'm tempted with this pink case because you don't honestly see pink cases much. And they've done it well. Well, the honeycomb's not so great. How about a store that sells fuses? Literally the thing that all I wanted today was a store that sold fuses.
I think they have it in the Simpsons town, Fuseland or something like that. Fuse store.
Well, I discovered an electronics store that the concierge of the building was amused by because apparently people have been showing up for years now because this is the address that they list on Google and they don't and have not ever been there.
Ooh, interesting.
Then there was a store which sold.
So now I have party supplies in my office as well as other crap that now has
good.
moved in. Tired.
Party
I am
supplies.
so
At least you got some whiskey,
excited to be
Josh.
here.
At least you got some whiskey.
Yeah, that Airstone stuff that I tweeted about this last weekend. You know, for only $25 a bottle, it's really good stuff. They've got a peaty one and more like and then also a more of a briny seaside distillery. You know, like what's Old Pulteney?
Oh,
Old
okay.
Pulteney. Yeah. Much like that, except 10 years old and only $25 a bottle.
Nice.
A deal.
So not so much the tire fire on a dock is just like the salty seaside breath of air.
Yeah,
in
just a
your
little
mouth.
briny, but it's still sweet and
Nice.
it's mellow and fruity and a little vanilla and all the good stuff.
I picked up
it's-
a Jura that I'd never seen
It's
before
right there.
that I'm enjoying.
Oh, nice. Jura makes a good product and not terrible expensive
think so.
either. I think their 10 is like $47 here, which, reasonable.
It was an odd bottle.
But
in
anyway,
12,
sorry.
and Canada for
ahead.
$89 was really good deal.
Are we ready now?
Yeah, I guess
For
so.
what?
No, but okay.
Support Clarity says, did Ryan drink? Yes.
Yeah, Ryan drank like
Mimosas, Zima.
I don't know if he drinks like a fish.
fish. Okay, he doesn't drink like a
There
fish,
was a
but I'm just
selection
feeling.
of liquor at the office. Or
They always
Well,
have
you need
beverages
emergency
there. Whether it's
supplies.
Michelob Ultra or whatever.
Zima. It was Zima.
Yeah.
no shame. MGD 64. It's fine. It's still beer.
No, it's not.
It's cold. If it's
It's
cold,
not. Yes, it's cold. It's wet. It's refreshing.
it can
I'll
be
give you
very
that.
refreshing on a hot day. Okay.
It's not really beer.
How's your levels, Sebastian? You sound a little low to me.
You
as compared to
complained about
everybody
that
else.
a moment ago. How's
Yeah,
this?
I think
Is
you.
this-
Oh, you're very
a little
muted.
low.
I put a little bit of gain on it. How's this?
A little gain.
That helps, but
Little
you're
better.
still flat as a carpenter's dream.
Okay. How's this? More gain.
It's a little better.
It's better.
You gotta lean
Okay.
in, get a little
I don't
deep
want
on the mic.
to. Okay, I guess the levels aren't that high. I just don't
Just
want
like
to
Fat
blow
Joe,
it
lean
out.
in.
I just don't want to blow out.
No, wait, lean back.
I don't want to be clipping.
No,
Never
just be glad they didn't catch that one, Josh.
Yeah.
Okay, this
Lean
should be
back,
fine.
Lean forward.
Levels are probably fine. Okay, in 3, 3, 2. Everybody, welcome back to the PC Perspective Podcast. We're up to episode 631. This is being recorded on June 2, 2021. I'm Sebastian Peak.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath.
I'm Brett Van Spoonberg.
That was dramatic. You can find out when we go live for things like this, pcper.com/subscribe. Join our mailing list. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/PCPer. Become a PCPer patron of the arts. I always ask Brett at this point, do you have any updates on the Patreon?
You know, indeed
front?
I do. And I just want to say thanks very much to all the patron members out there, because without you guys, this kind of doesn't happen. So really appreciate it. And if anybody goes in and changes their name or changes their pledge during the show, we put the hard brakes on the show when that happens, because I'll get an email about that, and we'll read pretty much whatever you're going to write in your name. We've discovered that we'll read a lot of things that probably we shouldn't read. So, you don't need to test that theory, but you can try. We do have 2 new patrons, and I'd like to say a great thanks to Lawrence Adams. Way to go. I think that Lawrence has discerning tastes deciding to back this environment. Very good. Golf clap for you, sir. Thank you. And for tonight's finale, this person's decided that their name is most appropriately called Josh's Warm Moist Buns.
Mm.
If I could
They
get
do look a
musical
little
sting.
shiny when I take a picture of them on Wednesday.
Okay.
Let
Yes.
I don't know if it's
let me
just the Galaxy S9
just
adding
tone
some
it
extra
down.
Yeah.
things.
It might be a
Josh's-
beauty filter.
I'll
Josh's
flatten it out.
warm-
Do you
No,
use a beauty
moist.
filter on your buns, Josh?
I will vouch that
You
Josh
have
does
to.
not know how to use filters.
He looks pretty good right now. I mean, whatever filter he's using. Speaking of Josh,
Moving on
And-
from Josh's Warm Moist
and
Buns. to
photos
other
taken with his Galaxy S9. Is it an S9 or
S9
an
still a
S9 Plus?
reasonable camera on
Very
that
good
thing
camera.
as compared
Yeah.
to even new stuff.
I miss mine.
Okay, speaking of all that, Josh, please
All that.
take it away. Laramie, Wyoming. Burger of the week. Go.
Well, pains me to say it, but at the same time, I'm a little elated. There was no burger of the week. Instead, the burger special was the same one as last week, and I just didn't want more pineapple, as it's kind of wasted on me anyway. But that's another discussion.
I wasn't going to mention it.
But instead, I got 12 smoked chicken wings with the angry buffalo sauce. Now you think that those are just charred. Well, they're not really charred.
Yes.
It's just the angry buffalo sauce that they kind of fried on already. These nicely smoked chicken wings. If you've never had smoked chicken wings, you're missing something, because you think, oh,
I might
that's
be drooling.
charcoal and burned on the outside, but you take a
No,
bite
that's
in
a smoke
and-
ring.
yeah, everything is perfectly done on the inside. And you get that sweet, smoky flavor combined with nice and spicy, angry buffalo sauce. And I don't use ranch or blue cheese. And I imagine people in Buffalo are pissed about that, not having blue cheese. But you know what? I like my smoked, angry buffalo wings just as they are. I find that blue cheese and ranch just cut the heat too much, and you miss a lot of the subtleties of the flavor of the smoking. And then, of course, you notice I had to get a salad this time. I just couldn't do fries with that many wings. And if you're a Midwesterner, you will realize that that's Dorothy Lynch salad dressing. And if you've never had Dorothy Lynch, well, you're missing something quite good.
Oh,
And that's my chicken wings of the week.
I have never had Dorothy. Were those croutons?
Yeah.
I've never. I don't even know what Dorothy Lynch salad dressing is, and I'm from the.
You're
Midwest.
kidding.
It sounds
I
exotic.
guess maybe it's a
Not a clue.
Nebraska,
Maybe it's a
Iowa.
plain state thing.
It could be.
Josh, I just want to let you know that almost every sentence I was mentally finishing or tacking on to the end of what you were saying is between my moist, warm buns.
No, there were no moist warm buns this week.
In fact,
Just
there are no buns at all.
chafed,
Not yet.
rough, dry.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Still, I was having a mental funny about the whole thing, so
Well,
thanks for
I'm
that.
glad. Yeah.
Are we all in the right frame of mind to talk about? Okay, there's a bunch of stuff going on.
No, I'm
Maybe
just
just-
thinking about the chicken
maybe-
wings.
Maybe just one more.
Okay, just another moment. As you know, virtual
right.
Computex Virtual has been going on. AMD had the keynote. NVIDIA has gone out there and announced stuff. Intel had something. But let's focus on AMD and NVIDIA tonight. And
NVIDIA.
I will lead off because we have a launch day review to share. But first, let's just look at what preceded it. We had a news story. This was late in the night on, I think technically it was still May 31st into June 1st. NVIDIA announces the GeForce RTX 30 Series Ti cards, the 3080 Ti and the 3070 Ti. Long rumored, we'd seen leaked cards, boxes, any number of things.
Leaked and leaked and leaked again.
So it was official. And if you look at what they announced a 3080 Ti that is just a bit behind a 3090 in the specs department until you get to the memory, which is cut in half. We talked about this before. We've talked about 3080 Ti rumors for a while. Pricing is what we hadn't heard officially. And they're
$1 million?
who knows? I mean, the launch price is $11.99, but we know that doesn't mean anything. And then the 3070 Ti will launch at $5.99. A noticeable thing here is those TDPs. Because how do you take the same architecture and make it faster? Well, generally speaking, you throw a bunch of cores at it or increase the clock speeds. In this case, TGP goes from 220 with 3070 to 290 with the 3070 Ti. And then it goes from 320 with the 3080 to 350 with the 3080 Ti. And that's the same TGP as a 3090. So and it's the same GPU.
Interesting.
This is all GA 102 stuff. So that was June 1st that we had this news.
So long ago.
And I had one of these cards for a few days before this. So we had the ability to do a little bit of testing and stuff in advance. I did some additional tests this morning because I screwed up and did the wrong resolution on something. And here it is, the 3080 Ti Founders Edition review. These are the reviews that are going up today. 3080 Ti. 3070 Ti launches officially next week. So expect, I'm sure, reviews from everybody then. So I had the simple question going into this review. Is a 3080 Ti simply a 3090 minus 12 gigabytes? Because the specs are really close. Really close. If you actually look at them compared to each other now, 3090 here on the left, 3080 Ti just to the right of it. The difference is 2 SMs, which lowers the CUDA core count from 10,496 to 10,240. And then your texture unit and tensor core count goes down by 8. Ray tracing cores, of course, there's 1 per SM, so it goes from 82 to 80. Clock speeds are a little down as well. And then, of course, you have half the memory. The memory's also clocked a little slower. It's the same effective 19 gigabit per second rate of the 3080. Not the 19.5 of the 3080 or 3090, sorry. And then the 3080 Ti also share. It's very confusing because some of the specs are similar to the 3080, some of them are a lot more similar to the 3090. The memory interface is 384-bit GDDR6X, which matches the 3090. So even with the slightly lower rate, effective rate, you're only losing a little bit of memory bandwidth. It goes from 936 to 912 gigabytes per second. So the same TGP of 350 watts, and then theoretically $300 cheaper.
Yeah, but let's look at the price differential between the 3080 and the 3080 Ti and just wonder, does that match up to the performance difference?
$500 for 2 gigs of memory.
Let that sink in. Let that sink in.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's their skewed sense of reality.
Skews?
This is closer to the 3090, so it should be priced closer to that. But let's ignore that it's less than 10% faster most on everything than a 3080, which officially is MSRP $699.
I bet they
Because
regret
that 2 gigs of memory and the extra components needed to get that 384-bit memory bus to run. I mean, obviously, it's hundreds of dollars per card, and by that I'm being sarcastic, because the cooler in the PCB, I think, is it similar to the 3080 Founders Edition? This doesn't seem like it's as big as the 3090.
If you find one of the posts I did about the same time you put up yours, there's a picture of a 3080 and a 3080 Ti right next to, or a 3090 and a 3080 Ti right next to each other.
And are they identical? Or is the
No.
3080
No.
Ti smaller?
There's
You're killing me. The suspense is
I'm
killing
waiting.
us.
I'm waiting. Okay, there is absolutely no difference physically between the 3080 and the 3080 Ti, except for
that much-
two
that
things.
much crap.
And I go into
That's for
excruciating detail in the review.
$500.
Listen, Josh,
It's 350 watt TDP, TGP.
there were some
Yep.
major changes. Forget about the changes made under the hood. Let's talk. I said talk about deja vu. This card is exactly the same, but no, it's not. I get into crucial design differences. Crucial
Dun,
design
dun,
difference.
Done.
Number one, the 8 in 3080 has been adjusted. It is no longer upside down. If you're aware of this, every 3080 Founders Edition card, the larger circle of the 8 was actually on the top. That has been fixed.
That's wrong. That was wrong.
Boy,
That-
thank God.
Difference
that
number
almost-
2. Look at this IO backplate. Do you notice anything?
Okay.
It's
Okay.
chrome.
it's
Oh,
screwed.
Previously,
Oh,
it
it's
was
not
a
black.
powder coat black matte finish. So,
Yeah.
and I go on. Additionally, there's another paragraph here. The audacity of this move, the shiny chrome backplate, it's difficult to put into words. I'm sure this
No, you
backplate
just-
finish modification will divide a lot of people, but I can see both sides of this crucial issue, such as the potential for scratching the black finish on the original. Disaster averted. Oh, and don't worry, the 12-pin power connector is back.
Whew.
I will.
Oh, thank God.
quickly- Just look here. I'll show you.
I am glad that you covered the important parts
Yeah,
of this.
I go into excruciating detail. This is the 3080 Ti. This is the 3080 Ti. I'll prove it. You can read it.
It's upside down.
Yeah,
There you go.
sorry. I always forget that.
now
It's printed the other way.
I couldn't tell that was an 8. Okay, I get it now.
It's the same size. I feel like the color might be just a little bit closer to the reference 3090, because the 3090s had a little bit more of a brownish, goldish hue than just a
Bronze?
straight. Yeah, than just a straight.
Like an antiqued bronze, perhaps.
Yeah, I should have gone into that in the review too. I could always add another paragraph about the design.
You
but
should.
It's exactly the same as the 3080 physically, which is interesting because the 3090 needed such a bigger cooler, but apparently this doesn't.
Yes. I know.
Like, you have
Yeah.
half as much memory to cool, but I don't know.
Yeah, because that extra 12 gigs is just going to be killer, isn't it?
Yeah, and
That
You know,
two
that
SMs.
gets hot.
All right, so
Two SMs
I've got
dead.
things to say, but I'll save the angry rant till after you finish.
Okay, and we can look.
Your
I only
review.
did a few benchmarks. There's like 6 benchmarks in this review. There's not a whole lot to say other than there's a difference, like you said. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of about 10% faster than a 3080, and it's still about 5% slower than a 3090 across the board.
But it's
4 or
about 70% more expensive.
Okay,
than the
but if
38.
and
Well, okay, there's
you
there's
can-
the problem.
in theory,
I-
if you could actually buy one in a perfect world,
I was honestly a little surprised when I was reading the because I know that YouTube algorithms, they favor negative headlines, so everybody does like a negative review now. But the fact that people are are looking only at the 3080, I guess it makes sense because this is a 3080 Ti. This is really a 3090 Lite. It's a very slightly slower 3090 with half the memory. So you'd think, well, whatever price that, 12 gigabytes of memory is, that's what you cut down. I'm probably not making any sense or any friends here, but it's 22% cheaper than a 3090, and it's 5% slower. So when I look at it at the high end, it seems like a great deal. If you look at it at the low end, but it's so much more expensive than a 3080, which it is. So what do you want? Do you want this to be 22% cheaper than the 3090 for essentially the same gaming performance? Or do you want it to be this incredible gaming card for, $100 more than a 3080 and be the savior of mankind because it's got a hash rate limiter and is widely available? So I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'd like it to be available, first off, which isn't going to happen. But
No.
what is the point of the 3090 at this point?
Well, this is the weird thing.
If you had stuck something in the middle,
I don't think they're going to keep making the 3090 because in the
Why would they?
announcement for the 3080 Ti, it was proclaimed the 3080 Ti is our new gaming. It is
Gaming
our gaming
king.
flagship card.
Oh, and
I
you
thought
know
they
that
said
they introduced the 3090 as their gaming flagship card, so you can't define that twice, right?
So it's
Okay, well,
weird.
here's the thing about the 3090.
Okay.
At the price point and the memory, it is getting bought up by machine learning people left and right. And so you can
and that's
actually
what the
say
24
that,
gigs
It
of
should have been
memory
a
is for.
Titan
You can-
all along. It's a Titan.
Oh,
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, just call the damn thing the Titan because that really is what it was. It wasn't really made to be a gaming card. I mean, the performance over a 3080 did not really justify its price. But if you're going to be running that thing 24/7, doing machine learning, deep learning, whatever, that extra memory space was key. And when you use NVLink, you could have 48 gigs of memory that's available for your application. And let me tell you, it needed it. The stuff that we do, having two of those has it skyrocketed our workloads over a 2080 Ti that we had previously, and NVLink together. I mean, there is. I can see the pricing and the use case for it. I wish they had probably just called it, the Titan RTX or whatever. Or there was already a Titan RTX, but anyway, do that. And also, 3080 Ti should have been a $1,000 product. If it had been a $1,000 product, people would have been like, "Hey, I can see that." It's got half the memory, so the machine learning people are not as excited about it because these things take up a lot of space, and having local memory of that amount is huge. We had a guy who worked with an 8 gig card, and he had to break up his workload so much that it was almost not worth it to run it on a GPU. Almost. I mean, it was still faster, but it was a lot more intensive. And when you suddenly get up to 48 gigs of addressable by using NVLink, it opened up new worlds to everyone. And I can understand having a $1,500 card at that because it really is a professional usage type card. And I do not begrudge them that. And plus, the actual construction itself of the Founders Edition, it was a bigger card and it had better cooling. And, it was kind of just a kick-ass thing. And I realized, some people got it for gaming. And I do not begrudge them. But the price for this is really just a slap at the face of consumers. I know I'm not making any friends at NVIDIA, and I apologize for this, Sebastian, Brett. But
Why
it
do you
just...
have to apologize.
All right, fine.
No,
Anyway,
just do it.
it's
Do the truth.
garbage. We live
Hi,
in
Brian.
a place where
Hi.
nobody can get anything, and it's just like, here's another thing. Oh, by the way, it's $1,200, and good luck in getting it anyway.
It would have been more than how much, Josh? How much is a 6900 XT? And don't tell me the
$999.
MSRP.
Couple $100
Supposed to
Don't
be was
tell me the
$999.
Oh yeah, it's $2,000.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
stupid.
So
It's
that's
stupid.
that's the price of a 6900 XT. What is the price of a 3090? It's like $2,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
So to announce this at
But I'm-
$11.99, it doesn't mean
Okay,
anything.
eventually, things will get back to normal, whether it be
Well,
in
it won't
fall
go
or
below
winter.
that. It will not go below
Yeah,
that.
it's still, you know, oh yeah, now that we have things available, you know, we're still have jacked up the price of a 3080 up to 850. Because let me tell you, I was really ecstatic about the 3080 when it came out because I thought that was a price correction across the board. Here you had what 50 to 50% performance increase over a 2080 Ti. 2080
Yeah.
Ti was an $1,100 product, and they put that down to $699. I thought they did a great thing for their customers, for their industry. They're not losing money off of it. And then, yeah, it just has turned around because, I mean, even MSRP of the cheapest things are nowhere near $699. I mean, you're going to be lucky to find it online for $899, and that's going to be, you know, a fairly basic $950 for, you know, for the win from EVGA. It just, I mean, I'm just angry. I mean, it hasn't been a great day, and so of course, you know, if it had been a better day, I might have a little bit more rosy view of it. But
So
no,
is
no,
it-
it's
No, I
not.
think-
No, it sucks.
I think you deserve to have this attitude on it. I don't think it's not. A
Yeah,
good
no,
move.
I think that it's you know, it's customers will remember.
Okay.
You're gonna have to do something spectacular.
Well,
you know, to
Josh,
to
I
get
think you're
back.
putting
And
faith
you
in
know what?
something that
So I
Yeah,
think it's
I don't
is
know.
it fair to say that they misjudged this move? Because
Uh,
if they were only looking at the high end, like if I only look at it that way and say it's 22%
Yes.
cheaper than a 3090 and it has 5% lower performance, what's the problem here? But then customers are looking at this, obviously. This the sentiment across the world, apparently, since this morning has been, this is shit. This price is way too high. It's an FU to customers. And I'm like, okay, I guess I wasn't looking from the bottom up. I was looking from the top down. But the $1,500 3090 was this elitist, you know, statement. It's like an exotic car. You don't need it. It's not
if you
worth
were
the
doing machine
difference.
learning, if you were
Well,
doing
that's a
professional
totally
stuff,
different application.
24
For
gigs of
gamers.
memory absolutely made sense.
Sure.
But for gamers, the fuck?
And you can't buy pro
Apologies.
cards with that much RAM for that much money. So it was a ridiculously good deal as an RTX card when the previous generation RTX had been $2,500, I think. So it looked like a
But
huge
just-
price cut across the board when they announced
Yeah.
these 30 series cards, and then
At the same
in
time, they also
retrospect-
broke the drivers apart. Don't forget that, you know, the gaming cards got the one drivers and the professional cards got the other drivers. And they're fighting that still, although it's still, you can still fudge that if you really want. But no, seriously, to suddenly say that, you know, AMD put out, you know, a 16 gig card and we realized that 24 gigs is a little bit much, doesn't actually add anything. So what we're going to do is put out a professional gaming card at what was it? Just under 10-15% less than the 3090? 20% less than the 3090?
It's 22%.
22.
Lower.
22% less than the 3090, and we're going to bump it up to 12. We're going to add 2 gigs of memory. We're going to make every other spec just about the same as the 3090. The RT cores, the tensor units, everything is within a hand's throw. If it's not the same, it's within 2 to 256. And we're going to charge
And they're
this immense
releasing
amount of
this-
money for it. In the middle of
They're
a
releasing
plague.
this 8 months. Sorry, releasing this 8 months after the initial, you know, 3080, 3090 launch, right?
Yeah.
And so they've improved on yields, they've improved on bins, and the bill of materials that they add, you know, the addition to the bill of materials is not going to be much. I mean, GDDR6X is still more expensive, but it's not $200 more expensive. It's not $100 more expensive. It's like what, $55 a chip, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably less than that. And then you're going to have extra electrical components around there to supply the extra memory lanes, and but otherwise it's identical, identical, even with the cooling. And you're bumping up the cooling by 30 watts.
All right, let's put some graphs up on the screen so people can look at something other than our faces while we continue to debate
Yeah,
this
how about
issue.
Oh, thank God,
Some
because
If you look at
I
the
am-
numbers, here's a synthetic, here's
Yeah.
Times by Extreme. It's
By,
4K.
by the way,
Yes.
I just want to I also want to applaud you including the 1080 Ti.
Oh, thanks.
Someone pointed out that they had appreciated that, and I just wanted to call attention to it. So thanks
Well,
for
it
doing
was the
that.
flagship not too long ago, and a lot of people still have it. So
I
I have,
think
Well,
a lot
and
of
a lot of
people
people are
still
still
have it.
running it.
yeah, a 1080 Ti and a 5700 XT should be on every chart because people are still using these cards. Anyway,
That's still
in fact,
my-
you can
my-
if you buy a brand new Alienware gaming system right now, you can actually get it with
You can get
5700
a
XT.
1080 Ti.
And our 1080 Ti. Yeah. So anyway, the 3090 that we have, we don't have a Founders Edition. We have an overclocked MSI Supreme card, which is faster than stock by a couple percentage points. So bear that in mind. But anyway, if you look at Times by Extreme, just the graphics score, you go from 8827 with a 3080 to 9887. It's more than 1,000 points higher with the 3080 Ti, and the 3090 gets 10,455. So we're talking 1,060 points above, and then it's 568 points below. So it sits in the middle. It's not halfway. I've seen remarks saying that it's only halfway between the two cards and it's this much more money. It's not halfway. It's like 3/4 of the way to a 3090. It's not halfway. But anyway, Metro Exodus 4K high DirectX 12. You go from 75 frames a second with the 3080 to 84 with the Ti, which is just below the 88 from the 3090. So we're talking about, 4.2 frames per second slower than a 3090 and 11% faster than a 3080. Shadow of the Tomb Raider 4K 12 DX12 high. You have 3090 at 116 frames per second. You have the 3080 Ti at 107. You have the 3080 at 100. So this one actually does sit in the middle, and I think I have kind of an outlier result here because I actually saw, I think it was PC Gamer had the 3080 Ti higher. Maybe not the
A
same.
lot of them did, yeah.
Yeah, and some certain games you'd think, well, sometimes the lower end card will be faster, but this one also has slower clocks. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this, but
Did you have bar enabled?
no, that's the other thing. I haven't done any rebar testing. This is all completely
Because
stock.
I think that a lot of review sites are actually enabling that. Because I've noticed a lot of them are using AMD platforms. They're not mentioning it. Which would be nice. If I'm linking to you, could you tell me whether or not bar is enabled? So when
And the
people
problem
ask
is,
me,
I would have had to have a lot more time over the holiday to do additional testing if I were to do that, because the legacy tests that I have in here, like,
Obviously
2000
don't have
series,
bar and
don't have
can't.
bar, so I have to retest anything that's compatible with it.
Yeah.
It
How's that
won't-
bar working on 1080 Ti?
Yeah. If you look at RTX tests, here's Wolfenstein
So what?
Wolfenstein Youngblood, RTX on. The gap is pretty small. 137.5 frames per second with the Ti versus 144.3 with the 3090. It's a decent gain. It's about 10% faster. Again, it's almost exactly 10% faster than a non-Ti. Here's BMI, Bright Memory Infinite benchmark. It's a standalone benchmark. It's very tough. I have to lower this down to 1440 to get good frame rates at the very high preset. And it's about 4 frames per second slower than a 3090 and 6 frames per second faster than a 3080. So it's a little bit better than halfway. Anyway, it hit
negligible.
1935 megahertz consistently, peak. It drew 354.1 total watts. That's total board power. So it's right there at its TGP. It's going to pull the whole thing. And the cooler is smaller. I mean, this is basically a 3090 with a 3080 cooler. So even in these short runs, the temperatures taken from this 10x iteration Metro Exodus benchmark thing that I run to get the frequencies, it hit 77.5 degrees and 84.9 hotspot in a room in like the mid to high 70s. I don't have any AC on right now, so it was 25.4 in the room, and the core was 77.5.
And
That's
that was the thing.
It's too bad you don't
That's-
have a 3090 Founders, because it would be really cool to kind of superimpose
I know.
those two on
I'm-
top of each
Yeah.
other.
these are higher
No,
temperatures than I saw with a 3080 for sure.
A lot of the
okay.
reviews that I saw where they were seeing the Ti hit the 3090, they were cooling the hell out of it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
They were making sure that the thermal throttling wasn't a thing. And, we're coming into summer. It's going.
I mean,
to
it's
be a
spring
thing.
here in Laramie.
It just snowed
didn't snow today.
the other day, right? Like 2 days ago or
Yeah.
something.
2 weeks ago.
Whatever.
Yeah, we went from nice and
Well,
rainy
it did
to
sleet on Sunday.
That counts.
oh sleet.
Yeah.
I miss sleet.
My conclusion, by the way, is all things being equal, if everything is available at MSRP, buy a 3060 Ti. That's still the best card in the lineup.
If you can find one.
Yeah, $399.
Right, at $399, that's
insane.
such a great card if it existed at
Remember
$399.
Remember when we thought it was kind of weird that they released it? Who was this for? It's like, oh, it's for people who can just afford to upgrade a card.
Yeah, it's the perfect card at the right price for people who coming on. It's
don't have one.
significantly faster than say a 5700 XT, and
Yeah.
it's a small, quiet card. It'd be a great drop-in upgrade for a lot of people. It doesn't exist at that price. It's like 3 or 4 times as much because it turns out that the original 3060 Ti is the #1 card. The last time I looked, the #1 card for mining, like in everybody's charts.
Oh,
The rankings like price, performance, hash rate, total power. So you just can't buy them. So if Bitcoin continues to crash further and further down, like it has been in recent weeks, then maybe you can actually buy one again. I don't think a lot of
I don't know. I
enthusiasts are
saw
buying
yeah
3080.
30. I saw 3070 for sale today. We got the little thing from Fix It, and it was directly from the Asus store, and I think it was $699. So even Asus from their direct store is adding $200 to the MSRP. And it's one of their tough things. So I mean, you're going to get some higher number, some higher pricing due to it just kind of being more special than a stock basic one, but not $200. It's just we live in stupid times. So stop buying freaking GPUs.
Yeah. Don't
It's
encourage
awful.
them.
It's and I'm not even hungry, so I can't claim I'm hangry. Just
No, you're just angry.
done.
Hey,
Done.
Brett, I think we've gone on this subject long enough. It might be time to hear from our first sponsor this week.
absolutely it is. And our first sponsor tonight that we have to thank for sponsoring the show is Clear. So if you want to figure out a way to move through security with ease and comfort, check out clearme.com/PCPer and use our code PCPer to get 2 months free, your first 2 months free. So check them out if you're starting to travel again and you want to kind of ease the pat down thing and go touchless and make it fast and painless. Check them out.
It's like a touchless car wash,
Very much like a touchless car wash, except for people where they.
That's their other business.
Nobody-
That's Clean Me, not Clear Me.
That's clever. I like that.
All right, we are back, and AMD was at Computex as well, and they had a lot to say. Their main event, going through the press release here, featured new RX 6000 mobile graphics cards, the Advantage program for laptops, AMD Advantage laptops, and more information about FSR, Fidelity FX Super Resolution. So the flagship of the mobile lineup is going to be the 6800M. This is a 40 CU product with 12 gigs of GDDR6, 96 megabytes of Infinity Cache, so not quite the full 128.
So this is essentially a 6700 detuned.
That's
More or
probably
less.
accurate, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But
lower
it's
power,
not detuned all that much. Instead of 2.4
Nope.
gigahertz up to 2.5, it's 2.3. So that's a nicely tuned little chip. Maybe if I could go back to one thing. If you want to buy a GPU, get it in a laptop or in a pre-built. Then you'll actually get kind of close to MSRP.
Yes.
Hey, you're right about that.
And
Sadly,
at least
laptop
Alienware
prices
just
go
put
right
out
now.
some new ones.
Yeah.
Speaking
but
of
it's-
laptops,
I know. it's
AMD
awesome
laptops,
that-
the AMD Advantage Design Framework, Josh, and look at this beautiful ROG. I think this is a G.
I'm very curious how this is going to work out.
So the Advantage framework is just AMD working with partners, leveraging their RX 6000M series mobile graphics, Radeon software, and 5000 series mobile processors. This kind of sounds like Centrino, but if you have an all AMD gaming system, it's not Centrino, it's Advantage. There might be some other prerequisites. I don't know if there's a what does it say here?
Well, there
Does it
is.
have to have high refresh? Does it have to have high brightness?
One of the cool ones that I happened to stumble across for this was that they have a temperature limit for the WASD keys as to how hot the maneuvering keys can possibly get.
Oh, right, I saw that. Like 40 degrees C max.
Yes.
Like the
I
cooling
think
solution
that's
has to be good
it's
enough.
like, oh, you guys are like trying.
So that's good. And then I'm
Yes.
scrolling here, and we also have
I'm not
Fidelity
crapping
FX
on it.
Super
It's-
resolution, which in this graphic, look at the performance increase. What I think is interesting is as we go from 49 FPS native all the way up to 150 FPS in the performance mode, which is impossible to tell in this still because it's kind of this murky area of the water. But since this is compatible not only with AMD, but with NVIDIA GPUs as well, and they were
only in
showcasing
Godfall.
the performance, improvement with a GTX 1060 during the presentation. This is
Well,
just
the gotcha
Okay.
to this is that it's really only in Godfall, and that their expectation is that and let me drop the other shoe. I'm going to take it from a great height and let it fall gracefully wherever it may. Is that
Before you
their
go-
expectation?
But wait,
right.
before you get too harsh, remember AMD is the official graphics partner of Apple for their entire Intel-powered machines. So please be gentle.
Noted. Okay, so just to drop that shoe, they expect NVIDIA to encompass their framework for all the other games that it can possibly be supported on, or whatever has to be done to get it supported.
And
on
that's
other
not a bad
GPU.
idea because they essentially had to hack the NVIDIA drivers to get FSR to work.
I
And
agree with you.
Their
Yes.
business is not making drivers for NVIDIA. They have a hard enough time
I mean,
doing them alone.
on their own, they have enough problems on their own.
Yeah.
But it is sort of funny to think about, and a lot of people sort of got this wrong because they were out there like, oh, and they're going to what a kudo, they're really going to own them on this. That's supported on all NVIDIA cards. No, that is not exactly
So they're trying
true.
to put pressure on NVIDIA to support it, which of course will never happen.
Yeah, that's what
Maybe.
It's
I
one of
mean,
those things that
what has
dies over
happened with
Conti-Text.
FreeSync?
Well, yes,
Kind of, yeah, because they did the
Yes.
compatibility.
Vulcan!
Here's the thing: okay. We'll hear a lot more about FSR as we actually get hands-on with it, but
Yeah,
it's
but,
part
do
of
not
DirectX
confuse it.
12.
Do not confuse it with DLSS because they're
You're right about
two
this.
totally different compute
very.
regimes. And DLSS 2.0 is PFM, pure freaking magic,
Yep.
as far as I'm concerned. And AMD is nowhere near that. I mean, you're going to get some super, resolution type stuff, but it's not going to be the same at all. But it's still going to give an improvement of double the performance for 90 to 95% of the quality as compared to DLSS, which does some strange freaking things to potentially even increase visual quality. And so I'm not trying to be an NVIDIA shill here, but
no, you're right.
we've
You're
got
right.
to keep these things in a little bit of perspective. It's great that AMD is doing this. It's great that they're opening up. I know that Kyle from Hard OCP asked Raja if they'll be embracing it, and he kind of gave a somewhat positive answer. It was still political, and it didn't confirm anything, but it's like we're going to try to give our consumers the best experience they can, and if that involves using FSR, then we're opening to these open environments.
There's a big difference between raster interpolation and the deep learning part of DLSS, which is really
Yeah.
key to understand.
Yeah.
The DLSS can do things that you cannot do in the raster realm. It actually can invent things based upon its I want to say precognition nature of its neural network to understand details that aren't even there in the pixel space, and that's what I mean when I say raster.
Wait, so this is like the soap opera mode of TVs? Is that what you're saying? Is it creates
I don't
things
know.
that aren't there?
No,
That's
Blurry
true.
apple frame.
But it's not quite as washed out.
DLSS can understand detail needs to be in a certain area that isn't necessarily there
Okay.
from
okay.
the raster.
Enough about DLSS.
perspective.
We're not talking about DLSS.
Yeah.
We're
whatever.
talking about AMD at
FSR.
Computex. And guess what else they have?
because we got more.
Guess what else they
There's
have?
more.
They're bringing
Oh,
the
but just
5000
wait,
series
there's more.
APUs to the retail channel. This is not surprising. But, I mean, they didn't bring the 4000 series to the retail channel, so I guess it's nice that the 5000 will be. Because as of today, the only one you can buy, the highest end one you can buy is the 3400G.
And that was
think-
a
Yeah,
that
which
was
is annoying.
a special import from China, right?
No,
Wasn't
that's
it?
the 4000 series stuff. But
No,
you could
that's
also,
regular.
you could also get one of the, like Ian, of course, got a 5000 series, did some testing on it by buying it from a supplier over there. But the pricing is interesting.
It's pretty high for an APU.
Right, this is kind of the, I mean, you can, I'm sure everybody will
Yeah,
excuse
well,
this who's still dumping on
People are
NVIDIA, but
starved for GPUs right now. So
$359
an APU?
for the 5700G. Remember, previous high-end
2 years ago.
APUs were like $150.
Yep.
And now
2 years this
200
would not have flown.
$259.
But in this market-
dollars.
In this
For the
market,
5600G.
it kind of like, it's not. It
You're
doesn't
getting essentially a
suck.
37. No, you're getting a. No, is it Zen 3? I can't remember.
Would you
is it
rather
still
a
Zen
slap
2
on the ass
Plus?
or a poke
No,
in the
it's-
eye,
it's-
Josh?
It's Zen 3 because it compares favorably with the 5600 and the
Yeah.
5800. They're very, very close.
Yeah. So
Performance-wise,
it's very
straight
close
CPU.
to a 5800. And so
Yes.
when you're looking at pure CPU performance and you get reasonable integrated graphics thrown in.
Guess what? It's the same Vega stuff all over again.
I don't
but it's
care,
still a
but they've
slap on the
improved
ass compared to a
Vega.
poke in the eye.
But it's processed.
And it's only
processed
65 watts.
Well, it's reduced, so it's a little bit more efficient. It has 8 instead of 10 or something, or 10 instead of 12.
Okay, but you could
units.
buy the 2200G or the 3200 if that's was still a number for like
Oh, if you can
$100.
find them.
$100 and base your system
Well-
around it and wait for a GPU. And now this is like, oh, 259 is the entry level.
But
APU
they're not
now.
doing a 3 series because of the silicon shortage. There's no room in the fab.
Nope, they just jumped through.
Why would you not
And-
sell the higher margin item? If you can only sell one, sell the higher margin item, right? I mean, this is a
Well,
publicly
all they
traded
did-
company. It makes
Yeah.
sense.
But the prices are up. So they got their margin by raising
And you
the
might
Yeah, but
just
the
be assuming on
3400 is a
margins.
12 nanometer product from Global Foundries.
Yeah.
So there's
Oh, it
there's
is.
no problem with wafer space there. 3400
Interesting.
G is 12 nanometer Global Foundries.
Production wise, that's probably cheaper to make.
You got a point there.
So yeah, no,
But
they're,
the
they're looking at
4000
this from
was the
fr-
Zen 2.
no, the bean counters are looking at that and saying, yeah, no, it actually makes sense to do this because we can charge what we want. And I'm not condoning this. I'm just saying this is what it is. So why not skip it? Why don't you just go straight for this? It's actually probably cheaper for us to make. Intel G or Z is in extremely limited supply, just like we are. So why the hell not go for it?
Why the hell not?
Okay,
And
Oh,
did
and
you
it's only
notice?
PCI Express 3.0.
Yeah, maybe it's 3.0. Did you notice they're also going to be bringing this to phones?
yes, and I put that link in here.
The
Excellent.
N-Gage is coming back.
Let's quickly, before we get that far, there was something else they demonstrated at Computex. Josh, I know you're all about this. Stacked
Ooh, 3D.
Stacked.
Oh,
Three
sexy.
keycaps.
Yes.
Think of
Like
all the
this
caps
was-
you can put in the same footprint.
By far the most impressive thing that we have seen yet at Computex. And there's multiple reasons. One, getting it to work and having a stacking technology of this nature at this speed that is going to be available. Well, they're going to start producing at the end of this year. It's impressive. Secondly, AMD planned for this years ago. So they didn't make any changes to the 5000 series chiplets to be able to support it. It already had everything designed in to be able to work as a 3D stacked product. This has been in the books for years, and this is so forward looking for AMD. It's not even funny because sure, Intel had that Point Vecchio thing, which is essentially just, you know, a bunch of chips all together, which AMD has kind of previously done with, you know, Vega and whatever the one was before it, with the interposer and HBM. I mean, they've been doing that for years, and even though Intel's was, you know, more complex with a lot more chips and some other, you know, speed areas within, AMD still had done it. So AMD is going to have one of the first desktop level. We haven't heard anything about EPYC yet, and everything kind of points to this being the desktop refresh, where this is going to be the Zen 3 Plus, except there were no changes to Zen 3. They're just adding extra processing to, one, smooth down and make the silicon tinier, thinner, so they can put this, you know, shaved portion of 64 megs of cache, L3 SRAM cache on there, and then two other little thermal components that will, you know, make it all the same height as the regular chiplet and the I/O, so you don't have to change anything about your cooling infrastructure or the heat spreader, because they're all the same size. And they've made those other two parts thermally conducive. They say it doesn't radically affect power consumption. It does not increase heat performance, because SRAM typically does not produce nearly as much heat as the actual cores themselves doing the work. And so that thermal material that's sitting over the cores is whisking the heat away just as well as the native silicon that would usually be there. So you're not even really getting an increase in heat. And so, yeah, this is me coming around from my NVIDIA rant, in that AMD had some real positive things. And yeah, I guess that we'll expect to see this in Q1 of 2022. And then Zen 4, I originally thought would be a May, June price before this was announced. No, it looks like that will be the end of 2022. So they're going to have this caching technology, which in games, which love cache, you're looking at a 15% CPU boost. There will be other applications out there which will heavily utilize L3 cache, and you're just going to get a nice boost. Regular stuff, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5% at max, but in those really rough scenarios where it will be doing lots of cache accesses and it will be able to store stinking 96 megs of memory on a chiplet. And when you look at, you know, like the 5900 and 5950, which are two chiplets, you've got an extra 128 megs of L3 cache. I mean, when did you upgrade your computer to 128 megs back in 1998? It's just ludicrous.
Yeah, that
the
was
amount
cache.
of
I had
yeah, it was not cache.
Sun servers the size of a refrigerator that actually had that in it. That would have been about it.
So it's
Josh,
awesome.
is there any technical comparison you can make between Intel's Foveros to their 3D chip stacking technique?
I couldn't tell you, just because I'm not as familiar with. I mean, those are all essentially test chips so far. I mean, they have nothing that's in
Yeah,
production.
it's so far away. It's so far away from production. Here we
Yeah.
have AMD going like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're rolling it out. It's happening.
And they're like, yeah, we're working with TSMC. They have a chip stacking technology, and
That's-
we're going to start working on that in November, December.
I think
Surprise!
that's pretty much that's the key thing to say is like, oh my gosh, they're so far ahead. Oh my gosh.
Intel's chiplets are coming soon, but I don't think they're going to be stacked.
Coming
Not yet.
soon. Isn't that Intel's new
To a
new
theater near
phrase?
you at
Coming soon.
it will be measured in the nanometers. We're not quite sure which one we're going to go with, but
Hey, the new Nook is cool, but I forgot to write up a post about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Let's go back in time. Jeremy was excited about this. Speaking of AMD, what about AMD GPUs in your mobile device? Could this be the second coming of the N Gauge? Is this Tony Hawk?
But with
Pro
ray
Skater
tracing.
playing on a
yes, yes, it is.
Yeah.
It was the best one I could
what a
find.
delightful handheld system this was.
Did you know it was also a phone?
Yeah, of course it was. Was it 3G? I don't remember if it was 3G.
Oh no, this might be GSM.
Okay.
It was a way back. But yeah, so Samsung, fabricator of our favorite AMD chips, their Exynos is bailing on Qualcomm. They're going for RDNA 2.
Oh man.
And this is interesting because I'm looking at my cell phone, and actually I'm yelling at it because it was an email I didn't really want. And now the news blast is saying that variable refresh rates and ray tracing might soon be coming to my cell phone because the mobile RX 6000 series is going to actually be adopted by Samsung. Now, this is brilliant for AMD. This is more cash for AMD to come in, which is always great. So, it's Mali. I got that wrong. Qualcomm does the Snapdragon 888, which already does ray tracing. Easy for me to say. The Snapdragon 888 does ray tracing, but it doesn't do variable refresh rate.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm just sort of thinking, like, I don't play games on my phone. I don't know many people that do.
But if you did,
They might be really excited about this. Me, I'm just more excited about AMD making a little bit more money so that the amount of money that they make in a quarter isn't what Intel finds on their couch, just randomly scattered around. So, yeah, I am kind of excited about it in the way that, this is a brilliant thing for AMD to actually be moving into yet another market. But on the other hand, usage scenario is not coming to me.
Think about this. Okay,
Maybe
Steam recently has been talking about the Steam Pal. So they're going to have some Nintendo Switch kind of device, like a handheld PC. But instead of the walled garden of Nintendo or Sony or... Well, I guess
Or
Microsoft
Nvidia.
isn't really because you can do it on PCs or their system. But having the Steam library available. I don't know if... And it's probably going to be Linux-based, and obviously Proton is something that's out there and works quite well. Most games play just fine on Linux. So something like this is interesting because then it gives you a low power SoC, high powered graphics, variable refresh, which would be very important, especially if you're trying to combat things like tearing at lower refresh rates on a small device, trying to play a AAA game title on it.
Yeah.
So, because right now, what do you have? What in the low power space for an SoC? You've pretty much got Tegra. I don't think there's a reason Nintendo went with Tegra.
I don't think they're making that anymore.
Snapdragon.
Tegra X1, no, but
Right.
But what I'm hoping is that,
Josh, you're muted. I think.
I mean, obviously I'm building him up until he can explode. What I'm hoping is that this isn't just mobile tech. This is also video tech. AMD has made an amazing amount of money off of the fancy video lottery machines down in Vegas. Generally, that's an AMD chip powering them. The big screens you see at an airport, the screen you're staring at while you're in an airplane, remember those? Generally powered by AMD because their mobile stuff, SIP power, was relatively good and was easily available. So I really hope that this isn't just purely mobile stuff. This will also be for kiosks. This will be for video display stuff. I don't know, but that's kind of what I'm sort of thinking of. Josh, what's up?
I think you guys already covered it. So yeah, Switch is essentially Tegra, so it still exists, but that's what it is.
Allegedly, they're moving to something new, and they're going to be announcing it before E3, but I have no idea if that's true or not. The Switch Pro, which is going to be the greatest
I
thing
bet you
ever.
they announce it virtually.
Of course.
Well, isn't Switch based on 14 nanometer?
I think it was
foundry?
bigger.
Or is it
Oh, crap.
It was
16?
bigger.
No,
thought
I think it
got
was
down to
bigger.
I think it was
16.
bigger. It might have been
Maybe.
even
Yeah.
22. Was it 22? Was
It
it?
was
No,
the second
it
revision
wasn't
of the
22.
Silicon that was smaller.
Uh.
But I don't know what it started off with.
Yeah, no, it's up there, and yeah, that's an easy upgrade because everybody's starting to go down to 6 nanometer, and that's going to be widely available next year from TSMC, and they're aggressive on 5 nanometer, and that's also going to be available, I think, next year. And
And
they're
Samsung's
ramping
bitching
those
about
things
2 nanometer.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
TSMC 's also-
Samsung's finally gonna. Sounds like they're gonna get some of their ducks
Yeah.
in a row, and their next generation is going to be a lot more competitive than what 8 nanometer was. Even though
No.
Nvidia, leaned on them heavily.
So if we're at PFM right now, I'm not quite sure what we're moving on to. Because, yeah. The
Pure
that
quantum
size is
magic.
insane.
Yeah.
Let's pause right here to hear from podcast sponsor number 2 tonight.
Number two. Are you still paying off your debt from 2018's Christmas presents? Contact Upstart. They can help you figure it out. Get out of that and use our offer code. Go to upstart.com/PCPer and check out their offer to figure out how to get yourself out of debt and figure out a payment plan. They'll help you out. Check it out.
Yeah.
And even though they're number 2
Number 2, my
in
lord.
your book, they're number 1, and they don't smell too bad.
No,
The number one
I
in
think
my
it'll be
heart.
okay.
Yeah.
Everybody got debt.
It's very true. All right.
Uh,
We return to talk about the thinnest of mini ITX form factors. You may not know this, but there's mini ITX, and then there's
is it Wafa?
thin.
Wafa
It's-
thin?
it's
It's
Wafa.
Wafa. It's just like a
ASRock.
thin bint.
No
It couldn't be
stranger
thinner
to
than a
the
thin bint.
unusual form factor and combination of things. They've produced an AM4 motherboard in thin mini ITX. Here's a look at the backplate.
I love how it accents the number of sockets it has.
Look at that power connector.
Rather.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
kind of a
Oh.
the standard laptop power connector. I
Wait,
have
is that,
the
Interesting.
generic thin
Is that
mini
a serial-
ITX. Yeah,
that a
it
serial
is.
port or
Yes.
V-
Yeah, Brett, I'm glad you
VGA?
brought that up because not only
Serial
does this tout the fact that it has USB Type C, and they call it out right here in the graphic, it has USB Type C next to a serial connection.
There's
Okay,
something
I'm more
wrong with this.
interested.
Old versus new.
There's no PS2
So-
port, but apart from that, I'm amazed.
Yeah. And you know what? They have not included the useless audio ports. See those two? The mic and
In,
speaker.
out.
Because
Mic and
what are
speaker.
the other ones for? What are the other ones for?
I don't
anyway?
know. Line in, but hey, it's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
It's some sort of virtual thing, Brett. Don't worry about it.
The
Middle
only
speaker.
concern here, really, besides the non-existent power delivery, will be the fact that this is based on a very low-end chipset. I don't think it's the A320 again. It might be. I used an ECS board with one of those, and it's rather limited. But it supports up to 4,000 series APUs. I'm guessing maybe it would support the 5,000s too. I just like thin mini ITX. Now you have a AM4 option from ASRock on the market So
Ericon from Discord accurately points out that as a protocol, they're all serial. He's right.
okay, what is it? RS
Technically
232. It's an RS 232 port.
We should have said RS-232.
Yes, to
Correct.
be absolutely.
9-pin RS-232.
You are technically correct. The best
Sir.
kind of correct. Okay, what is this story that made its way onto the list? Jeremy, do you know something about this?
Because at the end of all time, it's just to create the year of the desktop. Take
The
it.
year of the desktop computer, huh?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm so going to
apparently
drink out of that hose this summer.
out of the fire hose.
Is this it looks like just a standard garden
No,
hose.
it's a
kinking
kink.
an awful lot.
It's a
I was looking for, a visual pun about the problems we're having with delivering things through the supply chain.
Oh.
Or were you
It's
just doing
also-
your routine search for kinky hose and then this came up?
I guarantee you
Yes.
that it's
Did you
hose.
misspell? Did you misspell hose?
It was an autocorrect.
Oh no, I
This
always
happened.
follow it that way.
Okay.
I really like UHF, so when I want kinky hose, I get kinky hose. Yeah, so
I did not foresee this. I did not.
You had to know.
All right, I totally knew.
the hose
Desktop
knows.
Renaissance.
Yes.
Okay. I guess it makes sense if laptops are really in short supply, but we need
There you
more
go.
integrated.
You win the
graphics.
$1,000 prize.
I looked at the article.
There
last
aren't
year.
no notebooks, so companies are thinking about going back to desktops. And the funny thing about a desktop is you don't necessarily have to buy a discrete GPU, and you sure as hell don't have to buy a panel. That 16-inch from 2016 that we still have hanging around is good
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
It just plugs in. Away you go.
Just put
So,
VGA
yeah.
out on it. A lot of mini PCs have VGA out. That's going to be the future.
A lot
Mini
of things have
PCs.
VGA out, and that's still good.
It's the future.
Because otherwise, you've got an HDMI out on there, and then a DVI or a DisplayPort and DVI in on the monitor from
No,
the
no,
same
no.
supplier.
Got
Because
some analog
reasons.
video on that.
Yeah. No, we're looking at a jump of about 18 to 20%, or about 357 million units of desktop computers, more than we saw about this time last year. It's good news. It's bad news. The fact that, the desktop computer is dead has been for 10, 12 years now. I think I've been writing those headlines that the desktop computer is dead. All hail the new desktop computer that's still coming back. And you've also looking at a lot of us, that the enthusiasts, that literally the only way you can get your hands on a new GPU right now is to buy a really expensive package. And by that I mean a case, a CPU, a motherboard, and everything else, which is wrapped nicely around the GPU that you actually wanted. Hopefully you gave it away to a friend or something. It's interesting because there is a huge shortage, and companies love that because that demand goes up, so does price. This will be, and I'm trying to find where it is about Gartner. It's about 8 years, I think, since we've seen a swing on desktops up of this big. It's relatively interesting, but Apple, yeah, Brett, I'm looking at you.
Wait, is this the year of the
is-
iMac? Is that what you're saying? It's available. in all
No,
those
they're reselling the
delicious
freaking
colors.
trash can.
I'm
They're
sorry, what?
reselling the trash can.
Really? That's available
I'm
again?
sorry.
Yes, a 2.7
What do you mean?
gigahertz 12-core Intel Xeon E5 processor, 64 gigs of DDR3 RAM, 1 terabyte
Gotta look at
PCI
this.
storage, 2 AMD FirePro D700 GPUs, and 6 gigabytes GDR5 RAM for about
I mean, in theory-
£6,000.
Where is this available?
It's the Fire Pros that really dragged that down after a period of time. After,
Well,
like,
because that was Apple's fault. They
Oh,
designed a specific SKU for the Fire Pros that went in there. You couldn't just drop any old Fire Pro in there. You
Correct. Because they had a thermal situation going on, as well as
because
a
it was
physical
stuck in a
limitation.
trash can.
Okay, there was that. Yeah, that was probably it.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
as far as you know.
these apparently have spiked in price. So the desktop sales are getting weird at the same time as they're getting good. And I hate to say it, but my advice is if you're looking for a brand new graphics card, you're going to have to buy it in a system. But don't spend $5,000 on an old fucking trash can Mac Pro.
There are a couple of potential pre-builts to stay away from that may actually have like OEM specific versions of, and this was mentioned, somebody mentioned this.
So Lenovo?
Well,
Dell?
Dell, yeah, Dell mostly.
If you're gonna
would
buy
say.
one, go to stinking Newegg and do like their ABS,
Yeah.
and there's a couple of other ones that they have
They've got a
pre-built
house
systems.
brand.
Or
Yeah,
Pacific
and so
Northwest
just get-
or
A 3060
Some of the
or a
boutique ones.
3070 for less than
Yeah.
$1,500.
You mean Falcon Northwest?
No,
Sorry,
no, we
Falcon
do not
Northwest.
Blah, 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 blah.
They're not
Falcon or
inexpensive.
Main
Good
Gear
stuff, but not
or-
inexpensive.
Yeah.
Main Gear, yep.
Yeah.
Origins, something like that.
Yep. Origin PC. HP has consistently had the best total
Yeah,
deals.
Wouldn't
like,
argue
as
that.
far as what like the GPU upgrade, that sort of thing. Their prices are like memory upgrades from them are insane. But if you just order a PC with the GPU you want, you're actually typically getting a whole system for the current scalped price of the GPU. Dell has taken full advantage of the market, and all of their PCs went up in price. All their upgrades went up.
Well, and the Dells from a
they're currently
like a built-
holding about 2 weeks stock in right now.
from the Dells from a built perspective are also many times going to be using a custom one-off board for that system,
Correct.
and it's going to be kind of very useless in any other.
It's going to be micro ATX and have.
Is this
gonna
up
be
to
weird.
ATX spec
Proprietary
or is what is this?
If you use their proprietary power supply, it is.
Yeah, or their memory
And their
controller.
proprietary board.
Right. Yeah. Well, the power supply is really a big deal because they're using like it's not AT, what is it, 12VO. It just looks like it, but it's not.
Yeah.
Correct.
You know,
No,
in
it's
some
not.
cases. So
Okay.
yeah, stay
Here's the
away
desktop.
from that.
You want we waited. It's finally here. The desktop has made its triumphant return to dominance, based only on the scarcity of laptops, which is what everybody actually wants to buy.
Yeah,
So
it's,
those four
It's
guys
a tiny
running off of
percentage of
desktops.
enthusiasts like us who want a desktop.
yeah. Well, it's safe to buy Apple again, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, 5K
They only
for
wanna sell
an
you- they only wanna
8-year-old.
sell you an ARM machine, which, as long as you
It
can
does-
find the programs that run natively on it. Although I guess Rosetta 2 is
Hey,
really good. I don't know. I can't-
Apparently, it
We're
actually
going to see what the
games-
new translation is.
Okay.
Mm.
That actually
Right.
games okay in some instances.
Picks of the week. Let's move on. We've been podcasting for
Can
about
we?
an hour. It's time for picks of the week. And Josh,
No,
you are
we're
first.
We're
on the
smoking
list.
through this. Speaking about hot air, sometimes you need air in your tires. So I got one of this for my son who's going away from college. It's a reasonable. It was less than $59 when I bought it. It was like 48
off
when it was on
coupon.
sale.
Look at this.
30% off.
Oh,
Click it, click it.
Uh,
Oh,
And I just-
no,
I just-
no, don't
Oh
do that.
well, yeah. Edit point.
yeah, thanks, Josh. Like anybody
Hey,
couldn't have figured that
I'm
out
not in
anyway.
charge of clicking things.
That's fine.
But anyway, if your Prime member is like $47 and dual copper piston, supposedly better longevity, it fill up a tire on your car in about 100 seconds. Which, if you've had one of those old pancake pumps, it takes 5 to 6 minutes per tire to get it up, and then you're starting to heat that puppy up where it's unusable. And so this is a nice design. The only thing I don't like is I'd rather have an analog gauge than a digital one. Digital ones kind of tend to
Sure.
be more, they're not as robust as the tried and true, pressure old sensor
Metal pen?
needle. Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
like the pen.
Yeah, it just
The pen tells you exactly what's going on, Sebastian.
After you lose
Yeah.
like 5 pounds of pressure getting a good connection to the pen.
Okay, that's
That's about
fair.
the
Look,
third time to get. You don't got to
Anyway.
average it. It's like the first reading it could have been an outlier. Second reading, third reading.
Well, you
So
need
do
one
I.
of these things that Josh is talking
No,
about.
I'm
so you
talking
can
about
put your
the
tire
regular
back on.
pressure gauge, a radial dial pressure gauge on a lot of the older, and still some, rather than the digital gauge, so you can tell. But anyway,
Yeah.
regardless, it seems well built. It's got the light. It's got all the accessories. It'll pump up to 150 psi. So it's got everything under $50 on sale. And you know what? Everybody should have something like this in their car. It's just too stinking handy.
Especially if your girlfriend deflates.
Yeah. There you go.
Did you just say that? You just said that.
I had to. I am sorry. I had to.
Okay.
Gotta tell you, you got to be careful of the 150 psi models.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm, too much
They'll
pressure.
beat the living-
Surprise!
Huh.
Jeremy, did you really?
Don't
pick
want to go
this?
any further.
Had to.
I see that Jeremy is aspiring to a higher.
Oh, yeah,
level of
I found it.
podcasting here.
I found it.
Okay, what is
I
it?
found a Bitcoin mining PSU. It's on sale too.
Okay, how is it supposed to be 2,000 watts?
I don't know. It's bullshit.
Okay,
Is it a
if
dual
if it's
power?
not
No.
US power,
Wait,
they probably
wait,
could
wait.
do 2,000 watts.
Out of a 20 amp outlet, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, if it's European voltages,
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
maybe.
and
240.
European and Asian are what,
Okay.
240?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
wanna
it
say
ships
240,
from Canada,
yeah.
240
so
volts?
it's not. Now we do dual 240 120, but you've got to
260.
put a proper. Yeah,
Did
fair
you
enough.
see that? Did you see that on the
Yeah.
picture that he scrolled past? It said two. I've never seen that.
260.
before.
Okay, hold on.
260
I like
volts.
it in the description at Newegg. How to power on this device. At first, you must use the 20 plus 4 pin connector. Then connect the power supply with power cable. Now you can power on this device.
First, make a phone call to your power company. Say, hey, I'm
Yes.
powering up the aspiring 260 volt.
Base on
You-
above.
You don't want to be like those people in London that got busted because people thought they were running a pot growing shop, and no, it was just a Bitcoining mine. But if you keep
But
going
they were
down,
still stealing
Oh, yeah.
electricity.
well, no, they just it was.
No,
a
they were
huge bill.
stealing electricity from neighbors.
All right, they probably were.
Mm.
Okay, this is made
mean,
of
why
a
would-
high quality metal shell, not easily broken, very durable.
Not easy broken.
So
Not easily
Yes.
broken.
So
Not
wait,
easy
Wait a minute,
broken.
hold on.
Broken.
Max power output
possible.
1,800 watts.
Liars.
Yep.
This is not 2,000 watts.
When is 1800 2000? It's not.
Jeremy, this is shameful.
Is this not beautiful?
It is, and it's actually.
And
on
I don't
the
know
way.
how, but if I get it on overview, I've got this beautiful picture of a 2,000 mining power supply use active PSC with just like all these cards connected to it. And I know for a fact, because I looked into it, it doesn't actually have that many power supplies or power cords for a what is that, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16,
I mean,
19.
splitters.
Why wouldn't it be a
You
19?
just split them. You just split them again, right?
And then split them again and split them again. So yes, we now have Bitcoin mining PSUs. I think everyone should know about this.
Well, there's mining motherboards. It makes sense there'd be mining specific PSUs.
Yeah, well, that was just because it had 12 PCIe E's on it.
Yeah.
This is just someone trying to rip someone off, and I find it absolutely hilarious.
It's just $254. Buy one today.
Oh, and don't make sure the temperature doesn't exceed 50 degrees Celsius. It will damage itself.
High quality components.
All right.
Oh,
Brett,
yes.
Brett, your pick.
All right. All right. Well, Kent brought this up a couple of weeks ago, maybe it was a week ago or so. and he was doing some thermal testing with I think it was the Be Quiet cooler, that $25 cooler that turned out to be actually a pretty good deal. These are thermal interface sheets, IC graphite thermal pads that are actually totally for real. These things, I got a couple of them. They looks like, they're working really well, very robust, as long as you're not, tearing them or anything. Just be careful. And they're reusable. So if you're into kind of changing things around and doing some testing, this is a really nice thermal interface material to do that. And the price is very reasonable.
What am I doing here?
That's it. I don't know. What are you doing?
The price is very reasonable. I'll have to edit in a picture of that thing. Okay.
It's like 15, 16 bucks for a couple of them. You can spend, $8 for roughly, one of them, and you can continuously reuse it. So if you're going to try and figure out like, hey, which thermal solution am I going to use that's going to be best on, whatever device you're applying it to, this is a great way to figure that out.
But what if I have to ask the company how thick the pad should be?
Exactly.
As long as it's not ASUS, then you're fine.
Rhett, are you willing
Asus
to disclose the thickness of these pads? Or is that
I'm
proprietary?
going to go get a set of digital calipers, and I swear I will announce the thickness of the IC Diamond pad on next week's podcast. Tune in.
Does IC Diamond disclose
That's
the
a very
thickness?
personal
I don't
disclosure,
care.
and I appreciate it.
I will spill the info on this. We're going to scoop this and give everybody the thickness of the IC Diamond pads. I don't care.
Okay.
You don't care.
I don't care. I'm like Honey Bear.
You don't care.
Badger. Honey Badger.
Honey Badger. Honey Badger.
That's what I said. That's what I said the second time.
My pick.
Sebastian, do you have a pick?
I do. It's something that I've been using since I started doing the show. Well, since I started producing it.
Don't give me an opening like that.
Now, this is something that actually Ken told me about years ago. He's like, throw it on the levelator.
Okay, you're making it worse.
And it's a free utility.
Mineral oil.
It used to be from the Conversations Network. They stopped supporting it in 2012. You can still download it. It works just fine on Windows 10. And there's a Mac version. If you go to the Mac App Store, you can download it for the latest Mac OS, but it's from a different developer for some reason. It works exactly the same way. But it's called the Levelator. And this show, I'll export the audio as a WAV file. I'll drag it into the Levelator. It works its magic. It does multiple things. It does loudness. It does compression. It tries to find the quiet passages and make them match the loud passages. So if not everybody's the same level on the show, it will do a reasonable job. It's never perfect, but it's way better than the original output. Whatever comes out of Levelator is what you hear in the finished podcast every week.
That actually sounds like us. It's never perfect, but whatever comes out is okay.
Yes. It doesn't work miracles. My wife did a presentation at a local community college, and they recorded it with microphones that were like 30 feet away. And then the other person on the other side of the room the microphone was like right by her face. So I took the audio and was trying to level it off, but it was all on one track. It did a good job, but it wasn't perfect. It was still very imbalanced. But anyway, check it out. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And
That's what free is.
Yes, and it also doesn't cost any money. You don't have to send them any money. Okay.
So it doesn't cost anything.
Right. It's free. Does anybody else have anything this week?
I'm gonna die.
Okay. Yeah, I think I am too. If we're still alive next week.
I just want a store that sells fuses again.
I want a store that sells Fusion. Can we have a store that sells Fusion?
Apple Store, Fusion Drive. Hey,
That
remember
will
Fusion
be-
Drive back before SSDs were affordable?
You know, that was innovative, and then it sucked.
it
It
never
went from
was
innovation.
good. It was never.
It went
great.
from. It was for like
Here's the thing.
a few
It
months.
was good
It was-
because they went from like 32 megs to 128, and then
No,
they went
it was-
back down again to like 36 or 48 or some crap. Like
It was good because they went from a 5400 RPM terrible 3.5-inch drive to the same drive with a little flash front end.
yes. Okay. Well,
That was a vast improvement.
enough Apple chat. I think this is a show. We're gonna call it. Tune in next
Tune
week.
in next week.
More of the same. Hopefully not. Some more better. More
Well,
but better.
actually, people were commenting on the higher energy version of this show, and I think they liked it.
When was that? Was that
Several
last
of us
week?
are angry at things right now.
Yeah, this was.
Angry.
There's a lot of
guy
yelling.
right there.
I'm gonna have
that
to do
guy
maybe even some additional
over there, someplace.
some additional audio volume level.
I'm mad as
Yeah, I
hell.
might have
I'm
swore
not going
more.
to take it anymore.
Yep.
All right, see you guys next week.
See you later. Good night.
Thanks, all.
Okay, we are in after show mode.
Oh, thank God I can start drinking.
Thank God I can slowly sip on my beer. Down that and fill it up again.
I did
don't-
once, but I was off camera at the time.
No, okay.
I don't understand NVIDIA's launch. Like, this
Which part?
baffles me.
Oh, I do. Just
They can get
Oh,
away
money.
with
the
it.
beam counter.
Money,
know
money,
that they're gonna sell
money.
Dollar bills.
You know, that was funny. I don't know where the link was. There was some literature, something on NVIDIA's site. It was like a NVIDIA blog post or a contest thing or something, and it had the price listed at either $9.99
Oh, yeah, I
or
saw this.
$10.99.
Yeah, it was
So it was
$9.99, I think.
Apparently, a last-minute
Yeah.
decision to switch it to $11.99.
Nice.
I
You
think
know
it
what?
was
Someone
pretty
said,
good.
Gouge
guess
these
what?
gamers.
You could.
They could still. They could pull an Apple and lower the price after launch, and then say
Yeah, well, I
sorry.
mean, you
to
know, maybe
everybody."
they'll do that this
Apple-
fall if they
Apple does
actually
not
have
lower.
product available.
Did.
Yeah.
Hey, Brett, cast your
What?
mind back to the Apple
All right,
iPhone 3G.
I'm thinking.
And when the
Oh,
iPhone
that
3G
far.
dropped
Okay, you're right.
to
Yeah.
$199 from $399, they
Mhm.
offered rebates to people in the form of like an Apple gift card.
Yes.
Oh, I could use that for all the people that phone me.
But, let's see.
And ever since then, we've been holding it wrong.
True. So many legendary moments.
There is. Can be said about a great many things. You're doing it wrong.
I could love the 3080 Ti. But
You could,
it's
'cause
not
it would-
going to work out.
Nope. But you know they can do that in this environment because
Yeah.
you know that when they actually hit, they will be selling for $2,200, and they'll
Oh, yeah.
say, "Well, you know, we set MSRP to $12.99 or $11.99."
I think, Sebastian, I think one of the metrics you might have missed in your sort of comparison would have been the weight of the 3080 Ti versus the 3080 Founders Edition. Like, do they
True.
weigh
Well,
about
because
the
it
same?
has more SMs active, it's heavier.
But
well,
how many
we don't
screws
know.
does it have?
How are
Yeah.
we going to know this?
Get 3D
we
Game
measure
Man
this?
and count the damn screws.
Is
I
this
don't
is
think-
this something we can
I-
do right now?
I don't ever want to undertake disassembly of one of these. I'm sure it involves a heat gun and
Yeah, it
glue.
does.
There are some interesting looking little areas. This might be a screw. I haven't watched, Steve's teardown if he did one.
It's Steve. It's that Steve guy.
But here's that picture. Somebody mentioned something about a picture.
Some of the things you need to pull out are like magnetic. Oh, there you go.
This is literally we're to the point where it's just an external hard drive enclosure that has a compute unit alongside whatever you put in, which is
But
fine.
Intel
Ryan
needs to
seems
pull
real
out that
excited
skull
about
trail.
Yeah, that was a Sonnet external 3-disc RAID box, by the way. 4-disc.
I bet
Sonnet
Francois was
external.
happy about that too. Because he loves skull trail.
That's all.
Magnets. Yes, some of the things are magnetic on the disassembly. You have to actually pull them out with magnets.
No, I'll be calmed down by tomorrow when they release. I don't stay mad.
What are you going to get
Very
mad about
long.
next week?
the 3070 Ti.
Yeah,
Did you ever-
that'll be good.
Did you ever see that Black Mirror episode
Black Mirror? Oh, absolutely.
of
Which
the,
one?
the singing competition? You make
Yes.
you had to pedal to make energy and you
Yes,
make money
yes.
and then they have a talent contest Yeah, I'm
Yes.
gonna be that guy. I'm just gonna go out and get my shard of glass and put it right up against my neck and get mad about something.
That means you're for real.
Something.
That's why I
like
didn't
that.
watch much of Black Mirror, because one, it was like, idiots, you don't realize we're already living here. Jen
It was
from
just
the
too
IT
close.
crowd.
It was
Jen
too
from the
close
IT
to reality.
crowd got banned because her social media score wasn't high enough. It's like,
I thought
no,
that was funny.
this isn't fun to watch because
awful.
this is
No,
where we are.
it's dystopia is never fun to watch unless it's Mad Max
Yeah,
because
That's
you
why
have
I lo-
cars and violence and stuff.
love the
But all
metalhead.
these are all negative, nasty, dark. Hence the Black Mirror.
Yep.
Terrible stories that really, portray man's inhumanity.
towards man.
Yeah, it just
Or
I only
Mechanical
watched a couple of
Dogs.
them and then I was done.
Did you watch Metalhead, the Mechanical Dog one?
Yep.
You'll never
No.
watch those mechanical dog robots in the same way ever again because they're terrifying.
They terrified me from the very beginning.
They will terrify you more after that particular episode.
Yeah. No,
Metalhead.
that's why I like Love, Death, and Robots. I mean, at least there's a bit of a glimmer in there.
Yeah. And that's why I watched Ted Lasso, because it's all positive.
I need to watch that.
It's
You got
fantastic.
the Amazon
it's
Prime
like
now.
it's like a nice sorbet after a very long lifetime of disappointment.
Yeah. You've been hanging out with Alan too long.
Josh, you did play the Humongous in Mad Max. That was you, wasn't it?
Yes, it was when I was younger than
what I
much
thought.
more beefy.
Yes, you were really
Lord
cut back that
Humongous.
night.
Yeah.
Really,
I
really
was.
cut. Yeah.
I was the lunatic
That was what,
with the guitar.
1982 when I was 10 years old. So yes,
Just walk away.
Walk away. Give us the gas. Yeah.
Josh, I recommend some first season Family Guy. To lighten your
Oh.
mood. Back when the
Gotcha.
writing was really tight. The Thin
Tight.
White Line. That might be season
Yeah.
2. I don't remember if the Thin White Line was season 2 or not.
Unlike what
Thin-
it's
Thin
become,
Line.
which is just shite.
No, yeah, it's garbage now. But back then, there's just so many great moments. Like Josh's rant reminded me of Brian the dog's rant when he becomes addicted to cocaine after he's working as a police dog.
Oh, he's a drug sniffing
Yep,
dog.
and he sneaks into the
I want to be a drug sniffing dog.
He's
Be
going
the
on and
drug
on, like,
walker.
don't ask me how my
Every
freaking day was. And he goes into this whole thing about like the dark despair, the pit of your soul. That's how my day was. And then Peter is under the table like, you know what I haven't had in a while? Big League Chew. Just completely over his head. Every time I see Big League Chew in the store, I think about that again.
You know,
You guys still have
Oh,
Big
I
League
ain't had in a
Chew?
while.
Oh yeah! In fact, a couple weeks ago, I bought
That got-
a plastic baseball full of
Is that
Big
banned
League
in
Chew.
Canada? Big League Chew.
Yeah. You can't get Big League Chew and you can't get the Popeye cigarettes anymore.
That's ridiculous.
Damn it.
It is. I don't disagree.
Big League Chew's flavor only lasts about 5 seconds, but it's
Yeah.
the perfect
It's-
bubblegum
it's a-
flavor.
It's
Good
the
couple
grabbing,
of
it's
seconds.
grabbing all the strands like it's leaf tobacco.
Yeah, just shove it in.
Yep.
You feel like a
You
know,
roll
ball
that back
player.
up, you put it in your back pocket.
Double Bubble has a great taste, but it's also kind of hard. By the time it softens up, all the taste is gone.
Yeah.
Big League
And
Chew
did
is
you
already
did you
soft.
guys ever have the beef jerky in the chew cans?
No.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Like shredded
Yeah.
jerky, like that?
Why did
Oh,
you
It's
do
a
that?
it
beef
was-
shredded jerky in
It was
chew cans.
not good.
Really?
It was handy. It was
Yeah.
handy. It was not
You
good.
put that in your back pocket, and you got warm beef jerky at your fingertips.
And it tasted every good as bad as you think it
Yeah.
does.
That's a quality quote there to be taken out of context. We've got some warm beef jerky at your fingertips.
Yep.
I warmed it up for you.
I kept
Actually,
it in my
no.
pocket all day for you,
Swamp
Clarice.
down there. I don't know.
All right.
Never mind. Never mind.
It has moths.
I'm
Wait, is there a light source? Is that what you're saying? Did you put a glow stick down your pants?
No, it was the one the gummy bear in the pocket was Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay.
Remember when the girl handed it to the principal?
Yeah.
I keep them in my pocket so they're nice, warm and gooey.
Warm, gooey.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of moist, warm buns, for the final time,
Hey,
I just want to say that
Wayne in
this
the chat,
that this
he was
dude
warmed. He was warmed
that
by
this
Josh's
dude is
fun.
Canadian. So
Wait a minute.
if there's a problem, just confront Jeremy.
Were you warmed? This will end up being. This could come back to bite you, Josh. I was warmed by Josh's buns. It happened.
And you could just
I'm
easily have
coming
been
forward.
moistened.
Alan?
First one.
You could have
Alan,
been
is that
moistened.
you?
Wait,
No,
Josh, just
Alan-
be honest with us. Have you ever shared a bed with Alan Malventano?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, there you go. There you go.
There's nothing.
And that's-
Nothing more.
And I
needs to be
woke up
said.
one morning yelling,
We're
"Those
out.
aren't pillows."
Yep. And we're out.
Sorry, planes, trains.
They
and
wouldn't share a bed
automobiles.
with me, but I don't blame them.
Dude,
John Candy.
you had restless leg syndrome where you were like smacking. I mean, you woke
Yep.
us up. We're looking at you doing
I'm sorry.
cartwheels on the other bed. It was impressive. Sound asleep.
I wake up with bloody sores every morning, pretty much, on my legs.
You have like
It's-
night
it's
terrors.
awesome.
You kick things.
No, it's just my back is screwed and restless leg is part of it.
Hmm.
And I apologize to anyone that has to sleep anywhere near me, because as Josh will attest to, it's kind of loud.
I thought restless leg was
impressive.
just a convenient excuse for years of pent up marital frustration. Oh, honey, it's just
I've
my
never been
restless
married.
leg. That's the only reason I repeatedly kick you in the night.
Again.
Although I
and
did
again.
have a girlfriend that figured out how to stop the restless leg. All she did was put a hand over my mouth and nose and pinch, and I
Wow.
stopped after a
Wow.
while.
Now, hopefully,
Thankfully,
stopped
she
after a
let
while.
go eventually.
Yeah, exactly. I think some women do that for snoring too, like just block off the
I-
airways. It's a common home remedy. Suffocation. It cures all ills.
It works. It works wonders.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe how
does.
effective suffocation can be.
That and bourbon for teething, right?
Yes.
That works too.
Parents these days, no, you just rub a little bit of alcohol in the gums. Kid's fine, you're fine.
It's fine.
There are moms who won't even give their kids medicine of any kind until they're 12. Like you use these homeopathic remedies. Like this isn't going to do.
Oh, you mean the poison that doesn't really work?
Like,
What
he
is your
needs
son
ibuprofen
broken
when he
this
needs it
week?
now.
What is your son broken this week? Anything? Those are always great stories.
So nothing major. He did partially break our primary like standing lamp in the living room. It went flying. It's like 5
Wait,
feet
wait, wait,
tall.
wait.
It went flying, and I
This
heard
is not a light
crash.
object. This
No.
is not a light object.
It's made out of wood. It's something from Target I bought like 10 years ago. Well, no more, because it went crashing to the floor. And my wife, because it's one of those like tiered things that has shelves. So there was
Oh,
a
yeah,
plant.
okay.
There was a plant on it,
Mhm.
and of course the plant goes crashing, and the plant like physically broke, and all the dirt goes everywhere. And the reason he did it was because he was looking for the remote. And so he, in anger, grabbed the cushions off the couch, and the cushion went flying, and then that hit the lamp, and it knocked the lamp over.
That makes sense.
This is why you can't have any nice things.
No.
It's pointless.
That's also true.
The TV.
And I bet you he didn't find the remote, did he?
No, he didn't.
No.
The TV's broken. The lamp now has like a bunch of splintered wood on it, but I'm still using it.
Did you put the dirt back in the plant and kind of
I
just?
did, and then when my wife
it back
came
in
home,
the-
she kind of looked at it, and like the next day, it's like drooping over, and the next day, it's like turning yellow. Like, yeah, it's dead.
Hmm.
It didn't survive.
Oh well.
He was just a kid.
All right, I think Josh is making
All right,
those time
guys.
to go sounds.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm making
Yeah.
the big
Good night.
puffing sounds, which means that I'm tired and I'm cranky and I'm out of scotch.
Oh no.
Yep.
I only had one. What's the deal with
That's a
that?
sad.
That's another reason I'm
70.
pissed.
Another TI
All
next
right,
week,
my dogs
Josh.
are barking. Bye.
Prepare to be
Love
angry.
y'all.
Right.
Good night.
Peace.
Sees ya.
Ending the stream.